You know, I don't remember the big lessons my father tried to teach me. Not the speeches anyway. The words he used are all fuzzy now, like a radio station that's just slightly out of tune. What I remember is his workshop. It was a small, cluttered space in our garage. To anyone else, it might have looked like a mess. But to him, it was a sanctuary. And to me, it was a universe. I remember the sound first. The low hum of the fluorescent light flickering to life. The heavy, metallic scrape as he slid the toolbox open. And then, the silence. The kind of silence that wasn't empty, but full of potential. And then, the scent. The rich, earthy scent of sawdust. It wasn't just one smell. It was cedar, like a fresh pencil. It was oak, strong and solid. It was the sharp, clean tang of varnish. That smell, it got into your clothes, your hair. It was the smell of creation. The smell of patience. My father was a man of few words. He didn't tell me how to be a good man. He showed me. He'd hand me a piece of sandpaper and a block of wood. Just smooth out the edges, he'd say. And I'd sit there for what felt like hours, running my fingers over the grain, feeling the rough spots give way to something soft. Something smooth. I thought I was just preparing a piece for whatever he was building, but I was wrong. I was learning that anything rough can be made smooth with a little time and attention. I was learning about patience. One time I was trying to hammer a nail. I was maybe 10 years old. I kept missing. Bang. My strikes were wild, frustrated. The nail bent over, useless. I threw the hammer down, ready to give up. My father didn't say a word. He picked up the hammer. He pulled the bent nail out with the claw. He took a new nail, placed it perfectly. Then, he did something I'll never forget. He didn't just start hammering. He looked at the nail. He took a slow, deep breath, and then tap, tap, tap. Each strike was light, precise, controlled. The nail went in straight and true, without a single waver. He handed the hammer back to me, and all he said was, "It's not about force, son, it's about aim." And breath, that was it. No lecture. No. Let that be a lesson to you. But in that moment, I learned more about focus and control than I ever could have from a book. Years went by. I grew up. I left that house, that garage, that workshop. I got a job in a shiny office building that smelled of disinfectant and coffee. Life got fast. It got loud. It was all emails and notifications and deadlines. I forgot the scent of wood. Then my father passed away. And after the funeral, I found myself standing in that old garage. The tools were still there, covered in a fine layer of dust. It was so quiet. And then I breathed in. And it was still there. Faint after all these years, but still there. The scent of cedar and oak and memory. On his workbench was a small, unfinished box. It was a simple thing, just a few pieces of pine sanded smooth. There was no note. He wasn't that kind of man. But I knew he'd been making it for me. I took it home. I bought some sandpaper, a small bottle of varnish, and in my tiny apartment, with the city lights blinking outside my window, I finished it. And as I worked, smoothing the final edges, applying the coat that would bring out the grain, I felt it. I felt that silence that was full of potential. I felt his patience, his calm, his aim, and his breath. He never sat me down to give me the secrets of life. He just asked me to smooth a piece of wood. He just showed me how to drive a nail. And in doing that, he taught me everything. He taught me that the most important things aren't built in a day. They are built slowly, with care, with focus. That a strong character, like a strong piece of furniture, is built on a foundation of patience and integrity. That the true mark of a man isn't how loud he is, but how straight he drives his nail. That box sits on my desk now. Sometimes, when the world gets too loud and too fast, I open it. I take a deep breath. And I remember. I remember the hum of the light, the scrape of the toolbox, the tap-tap of the hammer. I remember the scent of wood. And I remember the man who taught me, without ever saying a word, how to build a life.